So this week we're taking the Sony A1 camera and we are fitting the Sony 200 to 600mm zoom lens, and we're going to be photographing dragonflies. So when it comes to dragonflies, there's a certain set rules that you want to do when it comes to macro photography, and that is to know your subject. Now with dragonflies, they have areas they patrol, they have perches that they sit on, they also may be laying eggs in the side of this pool. So what you want to do is when you first get to location, if it's a location you're unfamiliar with, is just to stand here like this now and just observe the dragonflies and see where their flight path goes. Are there any perches that they continuously return to? And that is what I'm doing now. And what we're doing is we're looking at this emperor dragonfly, and it looks like this particular area here of the pool is his area. It's his backyard. Anything that comes into it, he attacks. So this could be a good setup for an in-flight shot. Down the bottom there where we've been before, we've noticed there are some perches, so we're going to go and have a look at that first. But before we do anything, I need to set the camera up. Right, so again, this isn't my camera, it's the Sony A1 with a Sony 200 to 600mm lens. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to switch it to manual. That way the settings that I dial in are going to stay in the camera. And I've done some dragonflies before, particularly in-flight ones. I've actually done it with a manual lens as well. And by observing the dragonflies, sometimes they come round of their patrol area and they'll stay and they'll hover for a few seconds. That's a good time to get a shot. I want to get some static shots of them sitting still. I want some shots of them in flight as well. So because dragonflies are so quick, their wings are independently movement. So what I mean by that is each wing is independent, they're not fixed, which means they can instantly turn direction at a whim. So we want to set the camera up for the most difficult situation, which is an in-flight shot. And then those settings will work for all of the other areas. So if they land, the settings will work for that. First thing we're going to do is our shutter. I'm going to put that to 2000. The lowest aperture possible on this lens, which is a variable aperture lens, so it's 5.6 to 6.3, depending on the focal length I'm using, and an ISO of auto. Auto ISO seems to be working very well for this camera. I'm also going to turn on face eye subject detection, and I set it to animal. The last in-flight shot I got of a dragonfly was with an airplane mode. That was on the Olympus. One I did before that was in manual, so we should have a few more keepers with this modern technology. I'm going to set the camera to a high-speed sequential or a high-speed continuous, depending on what system you're using. And then finally, focus area. So focus area, I'm going to have it as a large focus area, and that focus point is going to be right in the middle of my sensor. So what I'm going to do, we are on back button focus, by the way. What I'll do is I'll put that point on the dragonfly, back button focus, and if it locks on, we'll just press the shutting button and we'll see what happens. Okay, we've got an emperor just here and we have a darter over the other side, but I don't think I can get the darter, it's too far away. But we do have 50 megapixels to play with, so I'll crop it in just a little bit. With watching the behaviour of the dragonflies, there's one quite large emperor down the bottom end of the pool, and on this end of the pool we have another emperor that's flying up and down. So I'm going to try and get a shot of him in flight coming towards me. I'm not guaranteed success. you are at the rim of the Dragonfly, but we'll see what we can get. So what I'm going to do here, and I've practiced this before doing the video, is I'm zoomed out to 200mm. I'm going to put my focus point on the Dragonfly, lock it on with the back button focus, and if the camera locks on, I will zoom in while taking pictures and just pray for the best, okay? So again, I'm out my depth here. This isn't something I usually do, but we're going to give it a good go. He's a bit too close at the moment. So I'm just looking at the side of the lens, and the minimum focus on this appears to be 2.4 meters. Now this Emperor Dragonfly is stopping just at the edge of the pool here. So I've had to back off a bit so as I'm able to try and get it in focus. Problem is I'm having to shoot through grass now and it might not lock on. Okay, so I'm going to limit the focus. 10 meters to 2.4 meters. See if that will help. And that's what I was on about. I literally just had it locked on and he did a 180 on the spot and took off. So if you're going to try this, you need some patience because these things move like lightning. And another tip I can give you, if your lens is having trouble locking on because it's locking onto the background, then what I'm doing is I'm focusing on the bush in front of me. That locks the focusing on closer, which seems to be helping the camera to understand that I want to focus on the Dragonfly and not the background. Oh, God, it is hard. So I'm photographing the back of him. He appears to be hovering but facing the other way. There's no way of getting into position because I will be in the middle of the lake if I want to get him in that position. I'm going to stay here another 5 minutes and just see if I can get him. Oh, they're fighting now, look. 3 of them. 3 males all fighting. Good luck trying to get a picture of that. Come on, come back down this end of the pool. Yeah, I see him. Locked on. No, lost it. They are so fast. And again, I'm photographing his back end. I got the guns for holding this camera, I tell you. We're having a moderate more success than what we did when it was in manual focus because this camera is locking on. It is getting the picture. It's just that we're photographing his ass rather than the front of him. What I think we want to do now, I think we want to move down to that side of the pool and see if we can get him coming back down rather than up here. I'm going to turn my focusing back to full because he's getting further down and it's not locking on. It is hard once the camera locks onto the background. You've got to get it to not lock onto the background. Oh man, I almost had it then. Oh. You know, the hardest part is actually holding this lens. Oh, we've got some good pictures. A little low in contrast because we've got blades of grass in front of us. But we have got a couple. Well, we're going to move down there now and we're going to see what other shots we can get. Sometimes they will land right by you. So we've got one landing just down here. Those reeds there, you will often find females laying their eggs in there, just like in this shot I got here from the other day. By observing the Dragonflies, we know that this particular area here is a Emperor Dragonfly zone or spot that he likes to patrol, and he's going around now. I think this is going to give us our best opportunity to get an in-flight shot. We've already done shots of the Dragonflies resting on their perches. You coming to me for a second? You bastard. He's pushed again. No, he's not. He took off again. I think they're fighting. I think he wants this territory. The Emperor one wants the territory as well. So that one's a darter. And the camera has more trouble locking onto that one because it's like a brown colour. I think it's because it's the same colour as the foliage. Whereas the Emperor has a blue tail, so it's easier for the camera to lock onto. Because that's not my camera system, it's my friend's, okay? I'm not used to holding it. I haven't got the muscles. I'm going to set up my tripod now because I am starting to get a little bit tired. My arms are starting to ache. And right now, every wildlife photographer out there is probably laughing at me. And I want my tripod to be about the same height as me. Okay, and on here, well, this is a Sony ST224 tripod, carbon fibre tripod, very good tripod. Links in the description for any of the gear I'm using. On top of here, we have a Platyball Elite, and this thing is perfect for photographing dragonflies. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to loosen my ball head so I'm able to freely move it around. And let's see what shots we can get of this dragonfly now. The camera is surprisingly very good at locking onto the dragonfly. Modern technology, it's amazing, it really is. Yeah, your limitation here is actually just keeping up with the dragonfly itself. Just to repeat myself, the technique I'm using, I have a large focus area on the back of the screen that's in the middle of the screen with animal autofocus set on. And I'm zooming to 200, so I'm zooming out, focusing, then zooming in and taking the picture. It seems to lock on with the zoom a lot easier at 200mm than it does at 600. That's got to be the money shot right there. Hey, I locked onto him and then he came to a hover. I've got the standard side shot of him in flight, but I want to try and get a head-on shot if I can. I need to go to the gym so I can hold the camera without a tripod. Oh, that's the money shot, I think. That there, that brown leaf right there in the middle, that's a perch. See, unfortunately, again, it's facing away from us. So again, you know, 50% of photography, particularly wildlife and nature photography, you're at the whim of the subject you're photographing. If that subject doesn't play ball, you ain't getting a photo. It doesn't matter what equipment you got. It doesn't matter how much your equipment costs. You know, if a dragonfly ain't going to turn around for you, you ain't going to get the shot. Yeah, we got some good in-flight shots of dragonflies there, but that's where I'm going to leave this video, because right now I need to go back to the studio to edit these pictures and hope to God I have got that killer image that I've been looking for. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you have any suggestions for future videos or some other subjects or equipment I could use to try out, let me know in the comments below. My name's Stewart, and I'll see you on the next one. It's the Sony A1 with the Sony 600. Scratch that. You can see him hovering over there, look, you see him?
Yeah.
What's supposed to say, yeah? Talking to the audience. Come, turn to me, right? Zip it, or I'm going to buy you a microphone. Yeah? That way the audience can actually hear you say stuff. Especially when you take the piss out of me. I'll tell you something, they are very hard to spot once they land and don't move. It's also very hard to get clean audio when there's a knobhead in a plane flying over. Oh man. For some reason my finger wouldn't press the button. It's because it's there, isn't it? Yeah, I'm okay here then.
Oh, neatly.
Someone put a hole in the floor. Oh, thank you for sticking to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe and click the like button. It really does help out the channel. I want to thank my Patreon supporters for their continued support in supporting me and this channel. If you're interested in joining Patreon, then check in the description below this video for a link to Patreon. If you want to continue watching my macro journey, then click one of the videos in front of you now.